Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Heat notes: Martin Adebayo, two-ways, Swider. Before he officially passed on his $7.1 million player option for the 2024-25 season, the Heat offered Caleb Martin an extension that would have been contingent on him picking up that option, according to Barry Jackson and Anthony Chang of the Miami Herald. While the exact details of that offer are unclear, Miami could have given Martin a starting salary as high as about $18.1 million in 2025-26, based on the NBA's rules for veteran extensions. The Heat haven't given up hope of retaining Martin, but they're only about $7 million below the second apron and have no desire to surpass that threshold, so their ability to make a competitive offer is extremely limited. Although the club could technically come close to matching the $7.1 million option the 28-year-old declined for 2024-25, that significant raise for 25-26 is no longer possible, since free agent contracts can't increase by more than 8% annually. A source close to Martin tells the Miami Herald duo that the forward had been hoping to secure a deal worth more than $15 million per year. While some teams have expressed interest, it doesn't appear that any offers in that range are on the table for Martin at this point. Here's more on the Heat. It has been a fairly quiet offseason for the Heat so far, but that's not because the team is reluctant to spend up to the second apron or use assets in trades, according to Jackson and Chang. Three people who have been in contact with the team say Miami is maintaining its flexibility for now in case an opportunity to acquire an impact player opens up. It's possible that sort of player could hit the trade market in the coming days or weeks, and the Heat don't want to close the door on that possibility. The Heat have had some trade talks with teams, including one club with substantial cap room, according to Jackson and Chang. The Herald reporters don't have details on the potential trade partner or the players who were discussed, but the Jazz and Pistons are the only clubs who still have the sort of cap room that could be considered substantial. Bam Adebayo intends to sign the 3-year contract extension that he and the Heat agreed to last week pretty quickly after he becomes eligible to do so on Saturday, per Jackson and Chang. The deal will tack on 3 years to the 2 seasons left on Adebayo's current contract and will run through 2028-29. If the cap increases by 10% in each of the next 2 off-seasons, the star center would earn $165,348,864 on the 3-year extension after making a total of $71,944,960 across the next 2 seasons. Heat veteran free agent wing rejected lucrative contract extension offer. Longtime Miami Heat combo forward Caleb Martin, a starter during the club's run to the 2023 NBA Finals, rejected a lucrative long-term contract extension to stay with the franchise, according to Barry Jackson and Anthony Chang of the Miami Herald. Per Jackson and Chang, the 6'5" Nevada product has been seeking a new contract that would have paid him easily more than $15 million per season. The revamped Philadelphia 76ers are said to be interested in his services, among other teams, although for now Martin is still unsigned. Miami is reportedly hoping to make a bid for a superstar via trade, Jackson and Chang report, which may be why the team hasn't made any major deals as of yet that could help the club get under the NBA's $178.1 million first luxury tax apron. The team has talked with unrestricted Chicago Bulls free agent small forward DeMar DeRozan, but the 6'6" USC product is apparently not interested in either the taxpayer mid-level exception, currently what the Heat could offer, worth $5.2 million, or even the non-taxpayer mid-level exception, $12.8 million, which would require Miami making some deals to duck under the tax. The Sacramento Kings and San Antonio Spurs have also chatted with Chicago about working out a possible sign-and trade for DeRozan, a source tells Jackson and Chang. So far this offseason, the Heat have re-signed stretch 5 backup Kevin Love and deep bench center Thomas Bryant. Miami has also added longtime wing Alec Burks to a one-year, veterans minimum contract, per a team press release. Martin is seeking a richer deal, and like DeRozan, he would now need the Heat to get off other contracts in order to sign him to the kind of money he seeks. In 2023-24 for the 46-36 Heat, the 28-year-old Martin averaged 10 points on a .431/.349/.778 line, 4.4 rebounds, 2.2 assists, 0.7 steals, and 0.5 blocks a night. He started just 23 of those 64 games. Heat slight favorites to land six-time All-Star who desires Miami stint, report. The Miami Heat will forevermore have two things going for them with regards to player acquisition: their famed culture and arguably the most sought-after location in the NBA along with Los Angeles. Those two factors struck again on Wednesday, July 3, with a report from Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald that yet another established star free agent, DeMar DeRozan, most recently of the Chicago Bulls, has the Heat on his short list of desired destinations. Kings have talked to Bulls about DeRozan sign and trade, per source. Spurs also now another possibility. Despite DeRozan's interest in Miami, Heat not in position to give him what he's seeking at this time. Heat will hope opportunity on some player it wants arises this summer. Jackson's report came on the same day that Jovan Buha of The Athletic reported both interest in DeRozan on the part of the Los Angeles Lakers, as well as that sources around the league believe the Heat are narrow front-runners to land the six-time All-Star in the coming days or weeks. DeRozan's status as a free agent complicates his acquisition by the Heat because the franchise can't swap salaries already on its books to bring him in. Miami is not only well into the luxury tax with its current roster configuration, but already past the first apron as outlined in the league's new collective bargaining agreement. Buha didn't go into the machinations of how the Heat might clear enough space to bring DeRozan in on a deal he finds acceptable after earning nearly $82 million from the Bulls over the past 3 years and a total of $257.6 million over the course of his 15-year career. Jackson added to his reporting on Wednesday that instead of a free agency play for DeRozan or some other available talent, Miami is instead leaving itself the flexibility to potentially make a future trade. Heat is trying to do something in trade market, I've been assured. DeRozan seems too difficult at moment, other options less clear, Jackson wrote on X, that's why they have left themselves $7 million under second apron for now. So it's not like they're sitting around playing Scrabble. Miami can't use the full mid-level exception, standard MLE, of roughly $13 million to ink DeRozan, which wouldn't count against the cap, because the team is already paying the luxury tax. Even if the Heat could use the MLE in an attempt to acquire DeRozan, the soon-to-be 35-year-old is unlikely to be interested in a one-year contract for less than half of what he earned in Chicago last season. That leaves only a sign-and-trade deal, though that type of three-sided agreement could prove too complicated to achieve. Perhaps Miami's best option at the moment to add to its roster is a sign-and-trade agreement centered around Caleb Martin, who opted out of the final year of his deal with the Heat this summer to test free agency. Martin spent the last 3 years in Miami and has proven himself a viable two-way wing in the rotation over that span. There is also the possibility that Martin doesn't find the opportunity and/or payday he's seeking as a free agent and eventually agrees to return to the Heat for a fourth season and potentially beyond. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of DeMar DeRozan? Leave your opinion in the comments.